The Science Week is a week-long activity annually conducted by science students designed to unite students of the Division of Natural and Physical Sciences who brainstorm on scientific knowledge, innovations, and approaches used to tackle societal problems. Also, the Science Week is a platform where the beauty of science is displayed through exhibition, debate, quiz competitions, which actually is my favorite part, etc. This is also a means of creating an avenue for young scientists to showcase their talents and as well motivate others to venture into the sciences. However, ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year's Science Week reads, Science for Sustainable Prosperity to Elevate Health and Technology. So I will take you through the program guide of the Science Week 2021 Event 1 opening ceremony. I will also want to take 2 minutes of your time to honor the national anthem. Can we please stand up for the national anthem? Thank you. All right, thank you so much. But the hall is kind of slow, so I would want us to give ourselves a round of applause for the national anthem. Thank you. As we all know, the University of the Gambia Science Students Association is a sister school to the University of the Gambia School of SOSHA. So we have the SOSHA president, Mr. Andrew Mendy. Mr. Andrew, please come forward and give us the opening remarks. I hope I will not be dealt with for not being able to get the video of SOSHA.
It is a pleasure to be here today. My name is Andrew Mendy, and I am the current president of the Social Sciences and Humanities Students Association. So I've been contacted by the president of the Science Students Association to deliver on the opening remarks for the opening of the Science Week, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Once again, good morning, students, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the high table, the UTG community, and members of the media fraternity, and all protocols respectfully and duly observed. I humbly welcome you to this blessed and historic gathering. I'm happy to be here. I'm delighted to be here. So I want to thank the leadership of the 16th Executive Council of the Science Students Association. Despite the global pandemic, despite the times that we're living in right now, they were able to stage and plan for this event. It's an honor, and I thank the leadership of Madam President Maimuna Trera for this innovative idea. We all know that the world we live in now, we cannot do without science. Science is very integral. It's very important, especially in our society. So what do we need to do as university students is to be able to harness our potentials so that it can fit and suit contemporary societal issues. So on that note, as the president of the Social Sciences and Humanities Students Association, I now declare the Science Week open 2021. Thank you all so much for coming.
We have the Vice President of the University of the Gambia Science Students Association, who is the word affairs board, Mr. Muhammed Hydara. Mr. Muhammed, please do give us the welcome remark.
It is a true pleasure on behalf of the 16th Executive to welcome you all to the opening ceremony of this year's Science Week 2021. I will also seize this opportunity to thank all partners for support and the profound thanks to my fellow council member for agreeing with me to preside over this important event. In today's gathering, the theme for this year's Science Week is Science for Sustainable Prosperity to Elevate Health and Technology. Elevating health and technology in the Gambian society is everyone's responsibility, moreover from the academia side. The result for a better primary healthcare system in the Gambia has been a problem for the past years, with the sad loss of hundreds of mothers and children due to improper healthcare system, inadequate human resources, and available blood bank. Not mentioned, many people do not even know their blood group in order way to support people that are in need. However, the University of the Gambia Science Students Association is here with a golden opportunity to support and complement government effort and partner effort to break those barriers that can connect our society with young scientists that understand the contemporary or the modern health challenge of the Gambia. In today's, ladies and gentlemen, what we are about to witness from the exhibition of these young scientists will prove to you all that UDG science students are the elevating factor that can transform this great nation of ours through a practical and research-based STEM. I therefore urge all partners to support the association to reach its maximum potential in academia for national development. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, health and technology is the driving force of every developed nation when it is prioritized as the slogan goes, a healthy population is a wealthy nation. So therefore, I thank you all for your kind attention.
On to the next agenda, which is the Dean's remark. Mr. Dr. Kamara, the Dean of the University of the Gambia School of Arts and Sciences, you are welcome.
And I believe we should use this week to review our weaknesses in the scientific enterprise. There's no gainsaying the point that science is supposed to make life easy for people. Of course, it is doing so, although it is also doing a lot of negative things. But we are not going to look at the negativities as they concern the world. We are going to take a look at the negativities as they relate to Africa and the Gambia in particular. When I say the Gambia, I'm not ruling it, I'm seeing it as part of the peripheral communities. And what do we mean by this? You know, there is a kind of binary stasis in the world where you have the metropolitan states, those are the traction countries. They manufacture, they bring everything, produce everything, and we are just here to consume. And we belong to another class called the periphery. So there is that division, the center and the periphery. That is something I want us to take a look at and listen to attentively. It is obvious that the radius between the center and the periphery keeps widening. We are not even thinking of catching up with the metropolitan countries, states, the industrialized nations. Why is this happening? And it is also a truism that peripheral economies are systematically being weakened because we do not have the right kind of PTC. And when I say PTC, it's not our primary school teacher certificates. It is not our poor teachers clubs. I'm making reference to our inability to produce a mass, to transform, and consume what we transform. That's the PTC I'm talking about, and that is a very important certificate we all should strive to have. It is also a truism that peripheral economies are increasingly being dollarized, thus making it increasingly unlikely that the gap between the metropolis and the conquered spaces where we belong, the Gambia belongs, will ever be closed. There is no sign that the gap, the radius, will ever be closed. For reasons all of us know, but we often ignore. And when we talk about dollarization of peripheral economies, for those of us who want a basic explanation of that, whatever we want to bring to the Gambia, I'm sure we need foreign currency. And when we say dollars here, it's not just the dollar itself, but all the hard currencies you have around the world. We need them to be able to import. We are more or less basic importers. We import almost everything. If I ask you here, or I ask myself, to get rid of every imported item on my body, I know all of you will run away. True or false? We import everything. You don't catch the joke. Now, I say it is getting increasingly difficult for us to catch up with the industrialized economies, industrialized nations. That sounds truly pessimistic. And I am pessimistic, of course. But then, the question we want to ask now, and that is going to be our challenge, this is it. What role should societies generally, as the marginalized societies, or the scientifically wired youth, what responsibility do you think you should assume to change the narratives, to change the reality, and to change whatever epistemic violence that is being committed against us? All the stereotypes, the negative stereotypes, they have leveled against us. Who are going to do something about that? It is not us alone. We have tried, and I don't know how far our trial has taken us to, but we believe in you youth to be able to take up the fight. We are going to pass on the relay to you to continue the fight. It is not going to be an easy target, an easy walk. Now, we expect you, the youth, these are our expectations, to do more of sacrificing and be more committed to hard work. We wouldn't want to see a youth that will feel very happy to get the sweetest way out through shortcuts. And we know shortcuts are often very wrong cuts. You are people who should aspire to inspire others, because see yourselves as role models. And to be a role model, it entails a lot of things. It entails a lot of sacrifice. The Vice President mentioned something here about health. You know, in fact, if it is even captured in the theme, that we want a sustained quality health system. I am not going to recount to you the ordeals I went through almost 6 months ago, but I want to believe that as a result of shortcuts in what we are doing, people in the medical field almost booted me out of this world without my consent. I was not prepared for that. And this is all a result of shortcuts. I went through 3 different ordeals. I will recount only the first one. There was one Monday morning I went to do a test because I was feeling my joints. I thought that was a malaria I had. So I went to do the test. I will not call the place. I don't want you to run away from there. But the laboratory was actually very good, and it's still very good, because the the results they arrived at in their laboratory were the same results they later on got somewhere, and they were also the same results they got in Dakar. So the laboratory, I can say, is good. But then, I was afraid that I had malaria. But when the tests were carried out, no malaria was detected. Two things were detected anyhow. Low white blood cells and some bacterial infection. I'm sure if the individual who handled my case hadn't taken shortcuts to that profession, would have known that it was not right for me to be given artesunate, a very potent malarial drug. And that, you can imagine what happened, the rest. So please, we don't encourage shortcuts, and don't encourage yourselves. There is no short way in matters that have to do with life. Science is about making people feel happy, not the reverse. I will also want to admonish you as youths to have the audacity to imitate. We often talk about innovation, but let us be very good imitators first, and then we think of innovating. The great China you are seeing today, the world leading power, although America will tell you the opposite, but I know on several occasions, China, especially during the economic recess, China came to the aid of America. We saw it happen here in this world. China, we were all together in the peripheral spheres yesterday, but today where are they? And how did they start? By imitating. They would take a whole tape recorder at a time, dismantle it, and reproduce the elements in it, couple it, and then will produce the same sound as the sounds produced by other tape recorders made by America and other nations. So that is the ticket. We have to have the audacity to imitate before we think of innovating. The two, I don't think, can go together. They might. But I stand on my position that it is important, first and foremost, to know how to imitate. And we should imitate. In addition to this, I would also want you to always bear in mind that we have great responsibilities, both intra-generational and intergenerational. What do we mean? Intra, whatever is being done now, make sure that you are included. Your interests should be catered for. And once these interests are catered for, that is giving you sound education, providing the right atmosphere for you to acquire what it takes for Africa, for the Gambia to close the gap between us and the peripheral nations, I'm sure you are good to go. And again, since you are all aspiring to become inspirational, wired, scientific youth, please don't hesitate to put pressure on us. The current science executive is doing just that. Whenever they detect any lapse anywhere that is inimical to the interest of learning, they will not leave any stone unturned till that problem is solved. Our uncles have this to say. My intellectual uncle, that is Chine Achebe. If you don't lick your lips and you allow the harmattan to lick the lips for you, please don't grumble whatever you see. Your problems are our problems, of course, but you feel the pinch more than we do. So it is the onus is on you to fight for the right things to be done.
On our agenda is we have a guest of honor, the ICT president, but before handing the mic over to him, I will take you through his biography. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Mr. Michael Jallow. Michael is the president of the Information Communication Technology Students Association of the University of the Gambia. He is a senior year student who first acquired his diploma in electrical and electronics engineering at GTTI before joining UTE. He started work career as a technician at the technical department of G4S. He served in many institutions in the Gambia and currently a software developer at Lomo Technologies. You're welcome, Mr. President Jallow.
Like you said, I'm Michael Jallow, the current president of ITCA. I want to thank the president of SSA for giving me the opportunity to be here today to talk to you guys about the importance of technology and how science can help us here in the Gambia. When it comes to technology, it's actually a newer field than most of the sciences because we all know that the sciences, maths, physics, chemistry have been here for a really long time now, whereas technology is not as old as the others. But then again, it's a field that has really changed the way of life that we have today. Because I'll give you guys an example of recent things that happened in the world with the COVID-19. In the beginning, when the COVID-19 started, the world came to a standstill. For months, nothing was happening. But then again, people came up and then we had things like online learning, we had Zoom meeting for workplaces and all of that. All of that was made possible with technology. But for today, we're talking about technology and sciences, and especially here in the Gambia. Like the dean just said, one of the issues we have in Africa is that we're always consuming, especially here in the Gambia. We're always consuming things from outside, but we are not producing and giving back to the world. And this is really affecting our economy. Now, when it comes to technology and the sciences, in technology itself, here in the Gambia, we really do need the sciences. Because if you look at it, one of the emerging fields in technology today is data science. It's something that is out there. Everybody's talking about data science, data science. The main thing about data science is that we gather information. And based on that information, we can make decisions for the future to predict what we can do today that will affect us in a good way tomorrow. I'll give you guys an example. Let's say, for instance, I'm a trader. I sell rice. And then I know that during the period of feast, let's say the Tobaski is coming up, the Christmas and stuff like that, a lot of people buy rice. If I have that data, I can plan and say that, okay, Tobaski is coming so time. I will save up and then I'll be able to buy a lot of bag of rices that I'll be able to sell. And then when that happens and then the Tobaski comes and I sell, it gives me more profit for me to be able to expand my business. That's all data science is all about. It's about getting data and making productive decisions based on the data you have. When that comes to the sciences, we have what we call bioinformatics. It's an interdisciplinary field with computer science, information system, biology, physics, and chemistry. And one of the things I want to talk about is biology. It says that between 1990 to 2003, about $2.7 billion was spent on sequencing the human genome. But then again, in 2014, it cost roughly $4,000 to do the same thing, which just shows us the reduction in cost for it. And it was all due to technology. But now, when we come to the Gambia here, we have an issue that if we want to do anything technology based on health, we have lack of data, which is something that we're actually struggling with. The data itself. Data is a problem that we're facing here. I'll give you guys an example. During the COVID-19, there was some of the vaccines that came out. One of the universities actually reverse engineered the vaccine. One of the vaccines that was approved by the FDA, they re-engineered it, and then it was posted on GitHub. And what it did was they gave it out to the whole world that if anyone wants to recreate the vaccine in their country, they could do it. But it's sad to say that it didn't happen here in the Gambia. No one took up the initiative to do something like that. And we had to collect vaccines from the other countries that donated to us. And like Dean rightfully said, as long as we keep taking up things that people are giving to us, we're not going to be moving further. We're only going to be consuming. And as we're consuming, we're not producing. Our economy isn't moving further. Because one of the things that we need to do is that we need to be able to produce for ourselves. We need to be able to self-sustain ourselves for us to be able to move further. And without that, people say that Africa is a third world country. Out there, people say a lot of things about Africa, and when they say it, we get angry, or we say that they shouldn't say that. But the truth of the matter is that it's true. No matter the way we say it, or no matter the way we feel, it's the truth. And if we want to change that, we need to do something. And that's where technology comes in. And like I was saying with sciences, you are the science students. We need you guys from the technology field. Because when it comes to technology, we can't do anything without the other fields. We are not a field that stands on our own. Everything we do is based on what someone else already did. I can give you people examples. Recently, we were doing chemistry, and they were asking us, what are the things that are important in our field? And me coming from the field of technology, the school, because we are ICT, the School of Information, Communication and Technology. And one of the things we talked about was lithium in chemistry, okay? Today we know that all of us have smartphones. I'm pretty sure that everybody here has a phone. And most of the university students have laptops. And one of the most important components on it is the lithium battery. It was what enabled us to leave the desktops at home and then for us to work with computers that are as powerful than they are more powerful than most computers that we had in, let's say, like in 2005. I can tell you today that most high-end phones today are more powerful than the computers that we had in 2010. And all that, because of that portable power, is because of lithium. This is where science comes in. Without that, we wouldn't be having all of these things today. People look at technology and see all the great things that we've done and all the great things that are happening. But if you look at it deep down and you dig deep, underneath it all is all about science. It's all powered by sciences. We look at today, people are talking about 5G. People are talking about fiber for data. All of that is true. It's technology. By the end of the day, the fiber cables that we're using, it all came from chemistry. The 5G that we're using, all the RF communication, all of them came from the sciences. Without the sciences, technology can move further. And here in the Gambia, if we do not try to improve the sciences, no matter what we try to do, we can't move further. The only thing we'll keep doing is that we'll keep consuming, and we'll keep consuming.
Okay. Because science is connected to everything. I mean, we talk about psychology. Right now in the university, I don't know if you are aware, there is a course going between the UTG and the Cambridge University. Most of the courses that they are doing are science courses. So they're doing these topics with science students. So they've done evolutionary psychology already. They're doing cognitive psychology at the moment, which is very science related. And then the next topic would be neuropsychology. So it is an honor to be here. It is interesting that the students are coordinating all of this by themselves and working very hard in terms of understanding the link between psychology and science. Because a lot of people, when you talk about psychology, I mean, they're just looking at the other side of it. Psychology is mostly science, definitely science. One of the speakers earlier, I think your MC, she said something interesting. She introduced Dr. Kamara as Mr. Dr. Kamara. Why do you think she did that? It was not a mistake. It's what is called a Freudian slip. So because why is that? It's not a deliberate mistake. It is not even a mistake. It's because obviously Mr. Kamara was Mr. Kamara, Mr. Kamara, Mr. Kamara. All of a sudden Mr. Kamara became Dr. Kamara. So obviously that Mr. Kamara was in the subconscious. So that is why she said Mr. Kamara, Mr. and Dr. Kamara. And so, so that is what we call in psychology a Freudian slip. So whatever is in our subconscious mind, affects us in our conscious mind. So, and all of this have to do with science. So therefore, most of the time what we discuss in classes in psychology is all scientific based, and psychology is based on science and research, because if you don't, you cannot come up with theories that are not based on research, Can you guys hear me better? Yes, okay. It's not based on research. So science has to do with research, psychology has to do with research. This is why the first class I normally have, I would ask students, what do you think is the link between science and psychology? So science is something you cannot escape. It's in everything, it's everywhere, you cannot deal with that. So by helping and producing science, the best science students in the university, is actually for the better development of the society and the country as a whole.